everyone, welcome everyone back to the YouTube channel Ghost Stories. Uncle B.A. Duy. I wish everyone a very interesting ghost story listening session. Everyone before listening, everyone don't forget to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel to receive the latest ghost story videos. And now let's go into today's story. To start, for today's story is a story Duy told by a sister. This sister has also told Duy many stories. Then today is a story. The main character is my great-grandmother. This story happened more than 100 years ago, a long time ago. My grandmother told it every now and then. My grandmother and I sat together. Well, my grandmother had memories, remembering the memories of my great-grandmother. That was my grandmother's mother then. My grandmother told me a story like that. That is also a part of the great-grandmother's fault, just like the blessing of the children to receive a great-grandfather, a father who is not their biological father, and your maternal grandparents have this but like a gift from the heavens. That's the story. Grandma said, the year your great-grandmother was young. That time was also a long time ago. This time was still the French colonial period. Listen to the French great-grandmother was very beautiful in the village. In that neighborhood, there was no one more beautiful than your great-grandmother. That's why people noticed a lot boys in the village up and down like that. Almost everyone who went to work for hire was passing by your great-grandmother's house looking furtively into this house, because this little girl was so beautiful. At that time, your great-grandmother's parents also knew their little daughter was beautiful, so that's why everyone noticed her. It's very easy. Now you like, which one then? Mom and Dad. We'll marry that one off. I don't force, Grandma said every time. Grandma went to the fields or went out to play in the neighborhood in the village. It was a boy. Following a bunch of them, people followed her very fiercely. Among them, there was this young man. That young man's name was Sam. He wasn't as agile as the other young men. This Sam looked a bit dull. He was dark and seemed to be a bit mentally retarded. Was just as slow and dull. He wasn't as smart as other people, but he also knew how to be attracted to girls. Just follow the young men in the neighborhood. Follow Grandma all the time. Back then, I also teased girls with this Sam. He was so slow and dull, but he kept sneaking over to confess his love to Grandma all the time. But Grandma didn't accept it because she said, "Oh, this guy is so slow that he's almost dead. How can I get used to it? Open my mouth raw to talk." Then the words are lost, saying Chung is very uncomfortable. I don't want to get used to it. Then I also go home and tell my parents, say that the tattooed guy in the neighborhood below, he also likes me, but I don't accept him. Listen to my parents. Although, my parents didn't interfere in Shin's wedding, however. I don't know why when this guy keeps pursuing my grandmother like that. Then my grandmother's parents just find out who this guy is, ask Ra. Then I know, this guy Sam is the son of Mrs. Namthu's husband and wife. They are also acquaintances. Back then, when the two of them were still young, they were already engaged to each other. But because they grew up, the two families didn't talk to each other. Until now. When we met, we found out that Ra was an acquaintance. So then the two families talked to each other back and forth. When did that happen? I don't know what happened of the great-grandmother agree. Let that ginseng man approach the great-grandmother, already promised to the other family in those days. Matchmaking was very popular. Not just getting acquainted, just need to matchmake to get married. Then the great-grandmother's parents also arranged let the great-grandmother with that ginseng man. Because people said, you just marry him, this guy. Looks as gentle as a piece of dirt. He doesn't know how to drink alcohol at all. Come home and you'll suffer less. You marry that devil B.A. go home. He'll beat you to death. The thing is, back then my parents said they wouldn't intervene in my Shin's wedding. Why are you trying to match me with this devil? I don't like it, but it's not beyond the authority of my parents. He and she set the wedding date for the two of us, so during that time, great-grandmother, she also swallowed her bitterness and she also endured. Although the young man named Sam was very cruel, it was not a trick at all. But because I myself did not like gradually getting older like that, there were only about 5 days left. Then people would introduce themselves and hold a wedding. Great-grandmother was also silent and did not hear her say anything. Before the wedding day, one day the great-grandmother bought a field. She ran away from home, left the country, and wandered like that. I don't know where. Then the last thing she did was drift up to Cholan in District 5. And now Harry, a young girl all alone, and dared to come to Saigon. The land was so cramped and crowded. My great-grandmother did not know where to go, just kept going and going, not knowing if there was a place where people would hire her to work or not. The fields and gardens. Well, but after working all day like that, I saw a house. This house, it's like a Chinese house. In the old days, they hung a sign like this. They put it need. A housekeeper, my great-grandmother at that time, also knew a little bit. So I just went in and asked. The owner of the house, I met a man. This man was older than my great-grandmother, probably about 10 or 20 years old. I went in and asked him, I want a job here. What do you do? Let me work. He just said my wife died. There's no one to take care of me. Then you just come in here and work as a servant for me. I'll pay you every month. Let you use it. I saw the house was so spacious and it wasn't dirty. Well, never mind, go in there and clean, take care of him. I went there and worked as a servant for less than 2 months. Then the two people started first developed feelings for each other. Not that Mr. Kia is a pervert grandmother or anything. Listen in Chung Hao. Two months, but now they sleep together like husband and wife, although there was no wedding at all. At this time, the great-grandmother is naturally like the second landlady in this house. When she first came in, the great-grandmother also heard that he said his wife died, but she had not seen his wife's altar picture at all, because he did not let her go up to his room until the two of them slept together. Then the great-grandmother saw that in the place where he slept up there, he had his wife's altar picture up there. Oh my God, this woman. Listen, what is this crow doing? Her face is so fierce. The great-grandmother did not dare to look at her a second time. But now the two of them consider each other as husband and wife. Then this matter of worshiping this and that must be made public, also because of sleeping together. So raw grandma, after a short time, she also got pregnant at first when the two of them first met. Then grandma thought this man was normal. Also loved me. Nothing happened, but after grandma was pregnant for about 6 months, then she began to see this husband of hers. She had some strange expressions. During the day, he was still very normal. He was the usual him. But from about 6 p.m. until late at night, he was completely a different person. He talked to grandma in a very strange way. His voice was also strange. It was a bit slurred and it was like a woman's voice. And the way he behaved was also strange. It wasn't like calling me you as usual, but sometimes I hear my grandmother pay attention. He sneaks into my bedroom. He doesn't let my grandmother in. He locks that door. What did he just say? I'm him. Habut. He speaks Chinese Chow dialector. Something else. My grandmother doesn't know, like he's sitting and talking to someone. Those are just the first signs. Heard less than a week later. Every time he enters the room, he slams the door. He opens the door and walks out. What's the sight that hits my grandmother's? Aisha's Beak lipstick. I don't know where it came from. It's so red. Here's a lipstick that's a squeeze type pucker. Your lips, it's not a lipstick. It sounds like a piece of paper in the old palace drama. Then he draws his eyes and eyebrows. What's that? It's exactly like Chang, a fake woman. Her grandmother is scared too. She said, hey, what are you doing? Are you crazy? He didn't answer at all. Oh my God, it was like he became a strong man. He beat her up. She couldn't move at all. The woman was weak. He was pregnant and he was strong. He flirted with him and did this and that. She couldn't stand it. She ran out of the house, but at night she had to come back. She couldn't stay out of the house all the time. When she got home, she saw him completely normal. That was the first night for a series of miserable days. Her grandmother lived in this house with him. Her grandmother didn't know what was wrong with him. She didn't think he was possessed. She just thought this man, he was crazy or something. Well, he was my husband anyway. She tried to stay with him, but oh my God, staying forever, couldn't stand it. Where to endure from that time until the day she was about to give birth. The old lady still had to endure pain. Almost every day, he used force on her. Her situation at that time was also very difficult. Where can I go now? Have a house, a husband, and children about to be born. Should I now carry my pregnant belly back to the countryside, report to my parents? Oh my God, they smeared lime and rice, husks, and let them float down the river? Did not dare to go back to the countryside. So that was also a must bite the bullet and stay. This house at that time, the husband and wife did not sleep together, he slept separately. But every night he wore makeup. Near dawn he smeared his face. After a while, the old lady felt like someone else was leaning on him. It was not that he was crazy, because during the day he was normal, telling him he didn't believe anything at all. Many times, she dreamed that there was a woman who kept passing by this house and go from below, go up to the bedroom of the couple, go in there and put on makeup a lot. When she saw that woman sitting there putting on makeup for her husband too, startled awake. Oh my gosh, her ex-wife got goosebumps. She said, "Oh my gosh, is it possible?" His ex-wife came back to torture him, torture me too that day. Her gosh was almost in labor, her belly was really big. Then that day was also the peak day. Her gosh was possessed. Oh my gosh, he took a stool. He made a promise on her head. Her head split open, holding her head, and ran outside to call the neighbors. People helped, and that pain was her gosh. She didn't know anything anymore. People pitied her. After all, he was from a rich family, so they helped deliver the baby. Her gosh didn't know what. Always opened my eyes and saw the child lying next to my place, but now I'm not lying in my house. I'm lying in the house of some midwife. She just took me to her house, but they left the old lady in this man's house. The old lady will die. Oh, he can't stand it. After going through the 10 life-threatening situations. Oh, look, next to my place is a son. Only then did I know I was pregnant with that son. Then this son is my maternal grandfather, who now holding the child don't know where to go or what to do, wandering here and there. Oh my God, for a long time. There's no place to work at all. This place is so hard to live, and there's no way to go back to my husband's house. I'm so scared of him that I don't dare to go back to live with him anymore, because afraid that his wife will come back and harm me, and also harm my child. That's why the two of us decided to do it. Take my child back to Sac Trangto, my parents' hometown, go back there. Whatever, as long as I have a job, that's fine. Until I carry my child back to the countryside. Then my relatives, my parents will reject me. No one will look at me. You're a young girl who betrays her parents. Your parents put you there, and you won't sit. They're close to the wedding day and you run away. Now you're living with a guy, you have a whole pimple, bring it home to tell your parents. I won't look at you anymore. You're a bad person, you lost, go somewhere else. That's what my parents said, so angry. Don't dare to live in the same house with my parents. The new thing to say, these familiar neighbors, beg people. People contribute a little bit like this. Pool money. Let's build a hut far away like that. The mother and child lived in that hut in a flash, until the year her grandfather was 3 years old. That was the little child of that great-grandmother. That year, the great-grandmother kept her child, and then who hired that plum to cut rice, but didn't do anything every time she went to cut rice. She had to carry her little Theo, but no one kept the field that her great-grandmother hired for her. Let people be on this side and that side. There were also many people who cut rice hired a lot that afternoon, while holding her child and cutting and harvesting like this. Then, the great-grandmother saw the figure of a person who seemed a little familiar to her, before she could remember who it was. Then, suddenly the little child behind Hero. She was holding Na Theothan. This little child glanced over to look at the side, the field over there. Call that guy like that, ba oi bay, call that. But while that is not his B at this time, the great-grandmother looked closely, and it was Mr. Sam, who was the person that I didn't love before. He was preparing to bring things to ask for my hand, and then I left him. I left my house, and I didn't have a wedding with him anymore. The great-grandmother whispered to her childa, "It's not Bates, not B.A. Go to sleep like that, but keep raising your head and calling B.A. calling like that." That Mr. Sam on the other side. He heard it, saw that he was an acquaintance of mine. The person I used to love, but ran away from meals, so foolishly came here to meet. While her great-grandmother was very shy, she didn't dare to meet him and kept avoiding him. Hathan, this guy said, avoiding me for what? I know I'll welcome. Okay, it was really hard to come back here, right? Now living with someone else, giving birth to this child, huh? Then its father probably won't accept it, right? Now why do you keep calling me father like that? Just call him father. Always my child. I'm telling the truth to Six. From the time Six left me until now, I don't like anyone. I'm here. I'm waiting for Six. That's it. Now Six has a child that Six brought back, huh? But if that's the case, it calls me BA. Then now if Six still loves me, then I love Six like normal, nothing else. Consider it as the two of you being paired together, staying and loving each other for the second time. This time you really love each other. The couple lived together for a few more years and had a few more children. But this old man, he only loves your maternal grandfather, who is the illegitimate child of your great-grandmother, that don't know why. But I love you so much, more than my own child, until my grandfather grew up that year when he was 20 and already had a wife. His great-grandfather advised that, now you go and get your biological father back of yours, take him back. Leave him alone is also pitiful. He is very fierce, but Grandpa won't accept. Grandpa loves Grandpa very much. This is Grandpa Ginseng said, okay, I don't accept my biological dad, because he is too cruel to my mother. You only have Dad. You respect Dad, so you don't accept your biological dad until the year Grandpa was about 25 to 6 years old. Then, the family had an incident like this. Grandma said, at that time, Grandpa, although he was already old, however, Grandpa still went to work to earn money because Grandpa was also old. Grandpa worked for hire for others. As for Grandpa, he rowed a boat. He went to sell fish sauce, salt, rice, whatever he had to sell. Just rode all the way in the countryside, going to sell early in the morning until late in the afternoon. Going to sell normally, like every day, nothing happened. Suddenly, that day I didn't know is on the shore. There is Weicho, that people go to work as spies to spread rumors. Tell BA the enemy on the other side, tell them of this. BA Ginsengi secretly carries rice to feed his troops. I heard he feeds BA that Viet Minh like. That means carrying rice to feed his soldiers, communist soldiers in the past. But in reality, there is none. The old man just goes to trade normally. Sometimes he also feeds, also supplies food to people. But it's not like he always gives it to people. That's why that afternoon the old man, he was almost home right outside the market outside, the BA intersection rowing in the middle of the river. Then he saw BA-4 soldiers holding guns pointing them down at him. He said, I count from here to Baif. You don't climb. In. You pull over to the shore, I'll shoot you. He was also very scared because he didn't have also climbed to the shore with bare hands. Just climbed 1 or 2 times. He counted to 2 and shot a bang. Couldn't resist. Grandfather was in so much pain. He fell into the river, always the people selling in the market. People heard a loud bang. People ran out to look, then saw there was a boat. It was floating recklessly in the river, and that BA Sam, my great-grandfather, he fell into the river. They also went down to check, but there was no one hiding anything. Where down there they also went. People here found out. People ran home. People told my grandfather. My grandfather immediately ran out, then couldn't find my uncle's father anywhere. Although he didn't know how to swim, but he still tried to go down to the riverbank. Look for my father, but couldn't find him. From the afternoon he dived to look until the evening. No, because the water was flowing so fast it started to go down until that night I heard. Grandpa saw. Those black spots in the river were floating up so high it swam so wildly. It looked as big as stingrays, but it wasn't. Asked an adult and they said hurry up. There's no way to find it now. If you want to find it, search early in the morning. Did you see anything ghosts in those days? Ghosts crawled. It was as common as stingrays in the river. That's why when Grandpa got to the shore, his body was so slimy. The other men were looking for it too. It kept swimming, twisting, and turning. It was hovering right where these men were looking for it. So Ra didn't dare to look for it anymore. It was a man he heard. and Grandpa cried so hard he said he didn't know how to find his dad anymore. Well, it was too dark and he was afraid the ghosts would pull him along. The couple left about lying down and crying and praying all the time, telling BA if BA is sacred, then BA will let BA float near my house. I pulled BA up and buried BA properly. Isn't it possible that now the body is gone? Why BA crying all the time? Until almost morning I was so sleepy I fell asleep. Grandma woke up first. Woke up and went to cook rice have strength so that tomorrow morning my husband can go find my husband's old man. Then she carried the rice pot down to the wharf water. Washing rice, it's only 5 a.m., but the water is flowing very fast. Grandma was washing rice like that, then Grandma looked over there in the distance, on the left-hand side there. The water is flowing from the right-hand side, it's flowing down to the left-hand side, it's a big water level. Hear that? But from the left-hand side, there's a body. Face down like that, it's floating recklessly, drifting recklessly like that, but floating upstream. Like someone is from up here, tie the rope and pull him upstream. The sun is up. The grandma looked closely, and it was my dad's body. Who and why did he float? Upstream, oh my God, it was so scary. It was so fast it floated for a while and stopped next to the 6 vases right near the foot of the house's pillar. Only then did they call everyone jump down and pull him up. It was exactly my dad. When he pulled him up, Truong Fung gurgled. There was so much mud in his mouth, BA the blood was mixed in there. It was so stinking, but Grandpa tried his best to change his clothes and bury his funeral. For my stepdad, the people around me said this guy was very dead because, I don't know why, but up until then we've never seen the scene who drowned and floated upstream do not so. Hi, but after the burial, both Grandpa and Grandma, both had a dream like this. Grandpa's spirit was standing outside the riverbank right behind my house. Naturally, in the middle of the river, Grandpa from under the water surface, he emerged, and he stood normally like a general. Because Grandpa didn't wear normal clothes, he wore on his clothes a set of bronze armor. It was golden, and it was shining. It's like this. He stood in the middle of the river and he said to Grandpa, "Don't worry. Baba's fate is over. Don't cry anymore." Luckily, he was still alive at that time. BA didn't do anything. Evil Ba's righteous spirit as much became down here long. King Dragon, he gave BA the position of commander of this river. I'm in charge here from now on. I won't see BA anymore. Number BA, it's over, but rest assured, BA always follows the children. Follow the grandchildren, seeing that then, waking up since then, the grandparents have not seen the great-grandfather anymore. But the grandfather is always very lucky. Like there is always AI to follow the degree for his own destiny like that. You hear many times without AI to help grandfather would have died a long time ago. Because a few years later, the grandfather changed jobs. Grandfather did not work for hire for others anymore. But it was like going to follow the bus conductor. These vehicles were the type of trucks for people to transport goods from this province to that province. Not modern trucks like today. You hear? But each time it took a long time because back then the vehicles were very bad. They were not very good. So it was also damaged running like this for a long time. So every time it went, grandfather had to go for days, very sleepy and could not sleep. At home time, who fell asleep? That's all, hear the sound ringing in the ear, wake up immediately. But this sound when waking up, it's exactly the voice of my stepfather, no one else at all. It's my great-grandfather. That time was sleeping like this. Here also called, wake up, you wake up. My child just opened my eyes to wake up. Then the whole car hit right on my grandfather's head. If my grandfather had continued sleeping, had then an accident had happened just now, and another time while driving, then driving far from home, then suddenly inside my grandfather's heart, I feel hot like that. Why are you always restless? Hey, don't know what's going on at home. At that time there was no contact, just worried like that and not sleeping at all, while driving like that. Here in the ear, go home, something's going on. Go home, gone. Like someone told someone to make grandpa. He drove his car home. When he got home, he saw his whole thatched house in front of him now, burned down. His wife and children were crying outside. The door when asked what, Grandma said she'd been cooking. Then the fire caught the wall and burned the whole house. Only had time to pull the children out, otherwise they would have burned to death in the house. And those were the times Grandpa tried to come back to warn Grandpa that there was going to be a disaster so he could avoid it. There were many more times later, but Grandma couldn't remember, only remembered that much and told me that's all. I don't know from then until now. Have you heard of an object that people often call a thunder hammer or a lightning tongue? The younger kids don't know, but I'm sure the older brothers and sisters, the girl's big old uncle, well, everyone knows what a lightning hammer is. Its shape is like a hammer carved from stone, not the hammer that people sell in the market. It's special in one place in the past. People used to tell each other anywhere where lightning strikes and kills someone, or if no one dies. It's the same after the strike. We go to that place. We dig under the layer of soil. Then every now and then it will have an object just like that. A rock, but it's like someone sharpened it. It has a shape, just like Chang, like a hammer blade. Sometimes. It also has a hammer handle. Always hear that the handle and the blade, they stick together like that for a long time. My old grandparents, people used to tell each other that every time SAO strikes we go, I dug up that hammer blade. Bring it home, it will cure all diseases. For example, if a child at home cries at night, it screams and won't stop, then take that hammer blade and put it under the pillowcase and give it to it. Then it will definitely stop crying. Or if someone has bone and joint pain or swelling or something else. I don't. No, just take this hammer blade and bring it out and grind it like sharpening a knife. Mix water and let it drip this water. It will come out with a grayish water like the color of cement. Then take this water and give it to the sick person to drink. Then it will definitely be cured. These are folk tales from that time on. As for how to verify it, I don't know, because only people in that situation can know. Yes, it can cure diseases, see, or not. Really, science has also proven this phenomenon. In short, people say when lightning strikes the ground, oh, it strikes once, it carries a very high temperature. Everyone. This temperature can be over 800 degrees Celsius. So with such a high temperature, it will melt all the materials around that place. When lightning strikes directly to the ground, it makes the soil, the rocks, the sand right at that location. It's too hot, it melts. It's like iron, like copper, like zinc. It melts after a period of time. Leave it at normal temperature. It will automatically dry up, according to the shape of this lightning strike. Most of it will create a shape somewhat similar to that hammer blade, so people say this is the hammer blade of lightning. Here, science has only proven that much. People have not proven that this hammer blade, when sharpened, can it cure people or not? Not proven, but people have not denied. If it sounds right, then let it be wrong. Then let it be, because science is science and spirituality is spirituality. This is a story related to the hammer blade. This lightning has a spiritual color. Real people, real events. This sister and her family witnessed the way people took out the hammer blade as well as used the hammer blade to cure people's diseases. The story is like this. Everyone currently, I am in my 40s or 50s. My children are grown up. But these memories, I will never forget. Although these stories may not be that horrifying, but they are very strange stories that I feel admitted. It's real, it's not a dream at all. Because it's lasted until now. When I'm older, it started from the year I was 89 years old. That year must have been around 80 years old. 283, something back. Then where my parents' house was, I didn't mention. However, I said that every summer my parents took me to my maternal grandparents' house to play. My maternal grandparents' house at that time was in Bin Chan. Everyone knows it's like a second Western place. In the old days, it was very remote, all trees, fields and gardens. Back then in my grandmother's neighborhood, there were also some rich houses. People would have black and white TVs. Every night they would go watch TV in droves. 90 o'clock, the return from my grandmother's house. Wanting to go to the house to watch TV, it's about 300 meter, but in the middle of this road it has an abandoned house. And I heard adults say, it's behind this official's house, it has a ditch out there. Is it haunted? Listen, to you guys who go to the theater, go and come back early, or if you pass by this house, you have to run. Don't look into that house, the ghosts are hiding you. Hear adults yelling like that. But sometimes when you pass by, you secretly look in. I didn't see anything. I don't believe anything at all, but never mind. But my spiritual stories, it also started from this remote countryside. There was one evening that day. I went to the movies and came back. But I don't know why it rained so hard today. It was heavy. It didn't rain a few days ago. It was strong. Everyone went into the mosquito net and covered themselves with blankets. That's the kind of thing to sleep in the rain, but it's delicious. So, I'm snuggling up under the blanket like this. I'm lying down. I closed my eyes for a while and fell asleep without realizing it. But in my sleep, I can still imagine the sound of rain. It's very loud because my grandmother's roof is a thatched roof. It makes a very loud sound of rain, and there's also the sound of thunder. The thunder here isn't strong thunder like lightning. It streaks across the sky. Then it's not until midnight that I'm lying down and dreaming, in a hazy dream. It's like my soul. See myself looking through the window next to where I sleep. I see a whole group of people outside. These people are carrying a palanquin. The palanquin is very big, and the people carrying the palanquin are men dressed like soldiers in the royal court. That's how it was. The person sitting in the palanquin was a woman wearing a bright red robe, and she was wearing a crown that sparkled. It was a pomegranate like Kim Sate shone all over at that time in my head. I had absolutely no concept of whether it was Buddha's mother or Tae Duong's mother or a queen or something like that. I didn't know anything until now. I still vaguely remember the words of a person standing outside the palanquin. People said this, the Holy Mother's mother, Jia Dao, or Jia Lam's mother. I don't remember clearly, but I remember people calling her the Holy Mother, just walking in the rain like this. No one got wet. That's how it was. I saw that. I jumped up. I ran following people. I watched while running like that. All of a sudden I heard a bang. Wei Cho also.